Right, I'm back and I'm not going to ramble on today, you'll be glad to hear, because I've got lots to do today and I thought that we would just carry on with our altered book and do a little bit more. So in a second I'm just going to pop this on the tripod and then we'll continue. Okay, so we'll get right to it. Just hope that's visible. I think it is. Round about there. Might be a bit wobbly, but don't worry about it. So here we go. I've done a little bit more on it, only a little bit, just to show you how I'm beginning to develop this page here. You can see it, put it in the frame there. Okay, so I don't want you to overthink it, because you might think, well, I don't know what to put on. I think you just need to go with the flow. And I was thinking, well, I want to put this pattern on here, and I thought, well, why? But there doesn't need to be a reason why. I just think I wanted something that was see-through, that you could still see the images underneath, but wasn't too colourful at this point. And I just wanted to put it on because I just like it. And I think that's a good enough and a valid reason. I like it. So what I noticed was I was doing this, that everything was black and white. So then I thought, right, I'm going to find a quote that maybe can sort of give me a little bit more guidance. So what I've found is, I've just written it down up here. Yeah, add your splash of colour to the world, by somebody called Connor Franta. Well, I quite like that because it's going from black and white to colour. So I thought, right, then all it needs is lots of black and white things. So I stuck some black tissue over the top, and then, so I'll just sort of go through my process. I got some Tipp-Ex, which is not very good actually, because obviously it's covered up the black lines now, so I've just got to squeeze this and persuade it. Come on. Yeah, it's really not very good. I bought this thinking, oh, this will be good. But in actual fact, it's not very good. Do you know what? It was doing it on there. There you go. But it's really thick. That's not really what I wanted. So it shouldn't do that. But you could use a white chalk or a white pastel. And this just gets my lines back, the ones that I've just covered up. Come on. Doesn't do anything, then it just blobs out. But I could do a few dots, etc. And then on the pattern here, we've lost some of the lines. Well, not lost them, but I've gone over them with the paper. So I'm now going to put the black lines back in. And then I thought it might be nice to have some grey paper. Now I'm just going to, a lot of people will already know this, but I'm just going to show you. I want probably like a piece that maybe sort of comes down here. So in a way, yes, something like that. But if I tear it, just tear it, sometimes it'll do its own thing. So if you wet it first, so if I just wet a bit like that, and then you just pull it apart. So you can really get nice shapes. And then I'm not going to do it now, but I will probably stick that somewhere like that. And then I will go over the black lines again. So you can see it's becoming monochrome, isn't it? There's a bit of glue already there. So, and the glue, you can use Pritt Stick. Mine's not very good. You can use PVA, which is what I used here, so it does go crinkly. The best thing is spray glue, but it's very expensive, so I'm not expecting people to go out, and the best one is Scotch spray glue. What else? Then I found this, some music, and it's got the word blue in it, so I thought, oh, that would be nice if we're talking about a splash of colour. So I could put that somewhere in here, or I could even put it over the top of there. So I've not quite decided where I'm going to put that yet, or it could be on this bit. I might just tear a bit and actually have it on there. Let's just see if I get rid of that bit down there and pop that. That might be quite nice. Let's do that. Let's stick that on there. So I'm just going to put some, see if this Pritt Stick will work a little bit and then pop that on there. Now if you remember from last time, I'd actually cut this down with a decal edge pair of scissors. I didn't like it, so I tore it in the end. Now we're just going to talk about tearing, because I thought we could move from black and white, I'm just making sure you can see, through to colour, because the quote is going to say, add your splash of colour to the world. So I thought, well, it might be quite nice to tear some of this. But then you've got that underneath, which is very colourful as well. So if you want to tone something down, then just put a piece of tracing paper. So I might stick that onto that sheet, or at least for part of it, and then we could put some bits in here, or you might just want a piece of tracing paper torn in that corner, and then that makes that stand out more. But also the tearing makes it stand out against the background. But there are two ways of tearing, and that's why I've left a little bit here. If you tear it one way, like this paper is probably too thick to actually wet. Then you get a lovely white edge. Now I'm not going to do it because I don't want, if you tear it the other way, well, I might not be able to do it here. No, the other way. You don't get the white edge. All right? So I want there to be a nice white edge, because then it'll stand out really boldly against the background. And I could do a bit down here as well, actually. So let's just, which way is it? So you've got to just start it. You know, so you do as much or as little as you want. I'm not sure I like that, actually. I don't like that. It's a bit too uniform for me, so I might just, which way is it? That way. That's a bit better. So I've not decided what I'm doing on that one. Forget that. At the minute, you're just thinking about this. So I'm going to move from black and white to colour. And there might be a bit, I'm just looking, because I just actually found some nice leaves. And you know, I can't find it now. I've lost it. Well, they're here. I'll do another one. Leaves. So you could, let's just see. They're quite tricky to tear because this is homemade paper. But you could try wetting it. But if it's a very thick paper, then it's difficult to do that. Oh, I've just found it here. So you could go gradually from black and white or cream and white to colour. So you could have, you know, a few leaves, which may be a sort of flowing. So it's a bit of both. So I'll probably stick those on. Well, I could probably stick a couple on now. Why not? This Pritt stick is definitely seeing better days. Ugh. So then I'll probably put another one just here. And I might cut out a few more. Right, so then you could have a few flowing down here. And you could even have one on here, couldn't you? Which means that when you turn that page, you'll see a little leaf in there. What I thought then was that I could start to find, you could either write or you could find your quote in letters. Now I had this piece of paper here, which I think had a pie all wrapped up in this. It's all to do with food, but that doesn't mean you can't use it, because you just cut out the letters to make whatever word you want. So I'm slowly finding, I haven't found enough yet, but finding the letters that will be in the quote of add your splash of colour to the world. And as it moves from here onto here, it'll change to colour. So all my black and white ones are going to be on the black and white bit, and my colour ones will be on the coloured bit. All right, so, you know, you would just do all of this, and then you'd start to think about where you want, you know, obviously I've not spelled the word out yet. You could have it all flowing, or you could just have it random so that people almost think, well, I wonder what that's all about. And then you might write it somewhere as well. So you could put all sorts of things like that on. I did wonder whether or not I could use this somewhere. but we'll see about that. I will do a little bit more away from the camera so that you can see how I finish a page. So I'm just going to leave that page like that, so it'll give you a lot to think about. You can use tissue papers. And I was watching, I don't know whether any of you watch Art Juice, not watch, listen to. It's a podcast by Louise Fletcher and Alice Sheridan, and they're two great artists, and they're really funny and very down to earth. And she does that collage, and she has a little rule to herself that if she picks up a piece of paper, she has to use it. She can change it, but she has to use it. So maybe that's something that you can think, oh, well, I might use that. Oh, well, I've got to use it now because I picked it up. So have fun with it. Don't overthink it. And if you think, oh, I don't know what to do, then find a quote. Find a quote that you can base it on, and then get your quote written into your pages somewhere, whether it's just letters stuck on or whether you handwrite it. I'm just going to leave that for a minute and then very briefly go on to this very thick page here. Okay, and what I want to do now, I'm just going to do the window and then cut a window out, and then that's it. That'll do for this little lesson. I would like to cut out a window. I might have two. I might have a window that's a hole, and then I might have a window that will open. All right, so I could do with a ruler. I did have a ruler somewhere. Yes, I've got one here. Now, where do I want that? Maybe I've got to put a piece of board underneath, and maybe I will have it here. I quite like that little bit. So this is the one that I'm not going to lose. Oh, in fact, I was just about to cut the wrong side. You could draw it on first if you wanted. Yeah, that's cut through. So, you know, you might want to just draw it so you know where you're going. Up to there, where is it? About there. And then cut through with a nice sharp craft knife. And that's gone through. And then here. So it's about there, isn't it? Turn your board around if you want, if it's easier. I mean, it's always easier to cut towards yourself like this. It is, but because I've got it under the camera, then I can't do that. And just encourage it. You might want to just score it. Score it means just go through it a little bit, and it makes it easier to bend. And now you've got a little window, like a little door or a little flap. So you could have something in there when people opened it, a picture or whatever, and you might want to do another one where you cut a hole out completely. So sometimes if you see something underneath, I mean, that would be nice with the fish eye. Let's do that. Let's just see what that would be like. So the fish eye is about there. So if I just do a little square, just give myself a quick. Can you see there? Yeah, you can. We're still in shot. That's good. And then just do. And this might look daft, but let's just have a go. Let's just cut yourself a little window. You know, you could have several. So if there's something interesting on the other side, then you could cut a little hole so that you can actually see through, or pop open and see it through. And then about there. And about there. And keep things like that. You never know, you might use it. So put the bits you cut off back in the box. And then you've got his little eye peeping through there. You know, why I would do that, but I just think, yeah. So if there's something that's underneath that might be quite interesting to either pop and see, or to see through like that, then cut out what you want, okay? So think about that on the page that you did that was very thick. Think about cutting out some shapes and then go back and finish off this page. And I think that's it for this time.